the number of cases that are terminated by the lower courts, including the appellate courts. But once an accused is convicted, Your Honor, the jurisdiction is now with the BJMP, Your Honor, under the Department of Justice. Now, the court can come in when there is a probation applied for, but that still falls now within the jurisdiction of the Parole and Probation Office. How they are served? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you for how we monitor, Your Honor. That is why we've created the JSCC, the Justice Sector Coordinating Council, because this is where we discuss the conditions of, let's say, a person is already convicted. Actually, Your Honor, if I may reveal it, as I've been only a court administrator for the past 3 weeks, and I've been receiving a lot of letters from detainees serving sentence from the National Bilibid Prison asking for their conditions inside the jail. And through the JSCC, Your Honor, we can discuss these matters and help out how the judges and the courts can alleviate their conditions. As a matter of fact, Your Honor, even the Supreme Court, through the court administrator, has mandated the judges to make mandatory jail visits to be able to check on the conditions of the detainees.
Meron po.
Able to just proceed with this observation. I think there should be a monitoring system. In other words, once there's a conviction, it does not mean that it is already with the BJMP or the police. In other words, the Congressman Diokno is saying that you should know that they are really served.
Yes.
So how can we go about that aside from this council? We have to make sure that
Yes.
the justice is rendered, that the decision is executed. Can we hear from our justice? Monitoring of the service of sentence.
Yes, Your Honor. It's actually part of the Justice Sector Coordinating Council project, but these are all in the pipeline, Your Honor, because we really need to streamline such procedure. But that is a very relevant concern, Your Honor, because without the streamlined procedure and monitoring, ang nangyayari po kasi, one court, one judge, and then if there is a conviction and then there's a Supreme Court decision that appeals or confirms it or modifies it, then it goes back to the regional trial court. That's the time that the judge is, that's the trigger point to again check on the condition of the detainee or of the convicted accused. But with the JSCC, that's why it's very important, Your Honor, that we form them. These dialogues can be made regularly.
Please proceed, Congressman Diokno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's precisely the reason why I'm asking. I'm particularly concerned, for example, with graft and corruption cases, and wondering how Congress can help the judiciary perhaps provide funds to create a database, not just involving the courts, but involving the Bucor and other agencies, to ensure that after all resources are spent by the courts that result in a conviction, that the persons who are actually convicted go to jail. Kasi sayang lang naman po yung oras kung na dumaan na hanggang appeal, na affirm, tapos hindi natin alam kung na-sentensyahan at nasa loob na po sila ng kulungan.
Yes, po.
Just a few more questions, if I may, Mr. Chair. Moving on to access to information regarding the judiciary, I am aware of this as a practitioner and as a human rights lawyer, that since 2012, the court has issued rules that require applications or requests for salience of members of the judiciary to be referred to the court en banc, and that the court may or may not grant those requests. I asked this question in relation to Republic Act 6713, which in my understanding is a purely ministerial obligation on the part of persons holding salience to release them upon payment of a minimal fee. May I know if the court is reviewing the 2012 ruling so that ordinary citizens could have access to salience, and we can assure the public that the courts are transparent?
Yes. Thank you. Your Honor, it is true that it is, insofar as the members of the judiciary are concerned, it is only through the Supreme Court that approves any requests for release of the SALNs. But we can take it into consideration, Your Honor, so that we can restudy and reevaluate the process.
Kaya ko po tinatanong yan, I was curious, I went online, I was wondering if the SALNs of the United States justices of the Supreme Court could be accessed, and they can actually be accessed for free online, pati po ang Chief Justice ng United States Supreme Court. So I'm wondering why we could not do that in our jurisdiction. Just one more question, if I may, Mr. Chair. I'll just ask for a second round later. In terms of, I understand the practice of bail pending appeal. I have handled a number of cases also in the Sandigan Bayan as well as other courts. And may I just know if it's mandatory for those convicted who are granted bail on appeal to surrender their passports, or is that a discretionary condition on the part of the trial courts?
No, Your Honor, because the procedure that should be followed is that the immediate filing of an information, there should already be the issuance of a hold departure order. So even without the surrender of the passport, Your Honor, anyone that has been filed a criminal case should not leave the country because of the hold departure order.
Again, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Madam Justice. The reason I ask is because in other jurisdictions, it is a common practice to require the surrender of the passport to ensure, kasi po kung hold departure order lang po yan, baka makalusot. Pero kung nasa court's custody ang passport, then hindi na talaga makakalabas ang convicted person unless, of course, makahanap siya ng ibang paraan. Perhaps that's something that the court may...
We will take that into consideration again, Your Honor. Thank you. But rest assured, Your Honor, that if, let's say, there is a person who is accused in a criminal case, they cannot leave the country until and unless they ask for leave for travel.
Thank you
But
very much.
cancellation and surrender of a passport is one consideration. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Your Honors. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Chell. And we go now to the majority. And the first on the list for the majority is the Honorable Representative Salvador Plato.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat sa ating mga ginagalang kasama sa Judiciary. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat.
Magandang umaga po, Your Honor.
Salamat po sa very comprehensive presentation. Nakita ko na kanina yung dapat ko sanang itanong tungkol sa mga judicial, non-judicial vacancies. Ganito na lang po sana kung ano pwede. Kung ano po plano ng ating judiciary upang mapunuan ang mga vacancies, lalong-lalo sa mga underserved region. How does the proposed budget ensure competitive salaries and benefits for judges and court employees to attract and retain qualified legal professionals? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Your Honor, right now we are undergoing a process mapping of the positions of the judiciary, and this is where equity comes in. We value our members, and we do know that as an independence of the judiciary, we need to give them morale, and we need to make them feel that they are valued by the judiciary. So the process mapping will help out in assessing all of these factors, so that, let's say, from the lowest ranking employee, such as a utility or a messenger, can be given a higher salary rate, but not necessarily a change of salary grade, by making him or her feel that they are valuable members of the judiciary. Yes,
Thank
Your
you for that response, Mr. Chair, Administrator Escueta. Tungkol po sa, mapalad po tayo, kasama tayo nung pirmahan natin Pangulo, yung Judicial Fiscal Autonomy Act na ako isang co-author din po doon.
Thank you po.
Tanong ko lang po sana, how will the new Judiciary Trust Fund be managed? Are there new roles for its disbursement? And how will it be made more transparent to Congress and the public? Kasi po, isang nakalagang layunin ng Judiciary Fiscal Autonomy Act ay ma-advance ang sistema ng judiciary at isang paraan para sa pag-digitalize ng mga proseso tulad ng electronic filing, electronic payment, and online hearings. Mari po bang malaman kung anong plano na nakalatag para sa sistema na ito, Madam Chair?
Yes
Mr. Chair.
Thank you po, Your Honor. The JDF, Your Honor, which is the creation of PD 1949, limits the distribution of the legal fees that we get from our legal and docket fees under Rule 141. It says there, if we look at PD 1949, 80% can only go to the cost of living allowance and 20% to the operations and repairs of the courts. Now, thank you, Your Honors, with Republic Act 12233, which now creates the Judiciary Trust Fund, that is now superseded. So the Chief Justice now can now modify or re-allot allotment class from one to the other, except, of course, the capital outlay, by prioritizing which one has needs. Is it personal services? Is it maintenance? Or is it the anything from our from PS to MOOE, which is not found in the JDF. But how do we spend it, Your Honors? Everything now is everything now is concentrated. But as of present, Your Honor, because it is likewise a provision of RA 12233, a TWG has been formed to be able to craft how do we really go about it, Your Honor. So how to spend it, it is about to be crafted, no, by the TWG members of the IRR of the Judiciary of the Fiscal Autonomy Act. Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you. As a point of information, I have here the Republic Act 12233, of which Congressman Plato is the co-author and I'm the principal co-author. And here, Section 5 is regarding regards Judiciary Trust Fund. And there is a lot of leeway given to the Chief Justice.
Yes, Your Honor.
As found in the second to the last paragraph, which states, the Chief Justice shall administer and allocate the Judiciary Trust Fund and shall approve and authorize the disbursements and expenditures in accordance with the provision of this Act and its implementing rules and regulations. That is why you're going to have implementing rules and regulations.
Yes, Your Honor.
The amounts accruing to the Judiciary Trust Fund, which is legal fees, according to Rule 141 of the Rules of Court and the existing funds of the JDF, and all interest and income derived from Judiciary Trust Fund, the interest on the income, shall be deposited by the Chief Justice or duly authorized representative in an authorized government depository bank. All expenditures and revenues of the Judiciary Trust Fund is very important to be able to have transparency, shall be subject to post-audit by the COA under pertinent rules and regulations. So this
Yes,
is a point of information to everyone that we have Republic Act 12233 just signed last August 15 by the President.
Yes, sir.
So kindly proceed, Congressman Plato.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kaya po bilang member ng Appropriations Committee, I am duty-bound to manifest my full support to the proposed budget of the Judiciary for the year 2026. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you
Madam.
very much, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Congressman Plato, for that statement of support. We now go back to the minority, and I'm happy to call former Secretary of Justice, former Senator.
Okay, first I'd like to express my commendation to the judiciary as a whole, to the Supreme Court with its initiatives. There have been quite a number of initiatives, and of course, our SPJI or SPJI, Strategic Plan for Judicial Innovations, would help a lot. And this is a five-year plan or blueprint for the modernization and transformation of the Philippine judiciary, addressing three major outcomes: efficiency, innovation, and access. And there have been also a number of achievements under this milestone initiative program. And I was listening earlier about the cuts from your proposed budget and when it went through the NEP process.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you mentioned about the total cost of 37,
Yes, Your Honor.
more than 37
37.81 billion, Your Honor.
billion, 0.1 billion, but you're actually asking for reconsideration for 25.33 billion, because indeed a 37.01 budget cut is significant.
Yes, Your Honor.
So again, it highlights the necessity for the law, the judiciary, the Judiciary Fiscal Autonomy Act, Republic
Yes, Your
Act
Honor.
12233,
Yes, Your Honor.
only last August, last month.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because among the important features there is that you don't have to go through DBM,
Yes, Your
that
Honor.
your budget will be directly
Yes,
submitted
before Your
to
Honor.
Congress for consideration as an attachment to the NEP. So hindi na makikialam yung executive on the matter of your budget. And that is in fact really a very good development. Now, I wish to touch first on the courtroom constructions. What are the ongoing courtroom constructions?
Your Honors, the new constructions ongoing are, well, of course, for our halls of justice, we have the big tickets. We have Manila Hall of Justice, Cebu, and Cagayan de Oro. But for new construction, we still have one completed in Gonzaga, Cagayan, Davao City. Implementation stage, we have Caloocan, Tarlac, Tanay Rizal, Balangiga, Eastern Samar, and Bulan, Sorsogon. We have an ongoing procurement in Sagay City, Negros Occidental, Guian, Eastern Samar, Benito Soliven, Isabela, Dimataling, Zamboanga del Sur, Virac, Catanduanes, Suralia, South Cotabato, Magsaysay, Oriental Mindoro, Lawag City, and Siocon, Misamis Oriental. For the general repair and rehabilitation, we have actually completed an annex building in Iloilo City, Camiling Tarlac, Umingan, Pangasinan, Sogod, Southern Leyte, San Juan, Southern Leyte, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, Carigara, Leyte, and Bansud, Oriental, Mindoro. Implementation stage, Your Honors, are 20 projects.
Ongoing
Yes, Your Honor.
projects. And these are all under, of course, bidding.
Yes,
Bidding
Your Honor.
process, following
Yes.
the procurement
Yes, Your Honor.
procurement laws and
Yes, Your Honor.
regulations. There have been no problem at all with respect to the construction of halls of justice.
Well, Your Honor, because we have, this is before usually, Your Honor, of the enactment of RA 12009, which is the new Procurement Act. We have to undergo the default of competitive bidding, and we have chosen most of them service service contractors for the creation of the DAED, or the detailed architectural and engineering design. We cannot say that it has been a perfect process, Your Honor, which would probably explain why we are still in the process of the submission, the complete submission of the DAED for most big ticket projects.
And of course, you're also conscious of the need also for transparency
Yes, Your Honor.
in this bidding processes involving courtroom. Now, about the impact of the continuous trial system, the Supreme Court, of course, has been championing
Yes, Your
the
Honor.
continuous trial system as a strategy to unclog dockets. Now, is there a recent study or data on how continuous trial has actually reduced the backlog of cases, specifying which levels of courts benefited the most and which remain congested?
Your Honor, in the reporting of our major final output, or the accomplishment rate, most of the time I would say it's 100%, 126%. That's basically a result of the revisions of our rules, Your Honor. In criminal cases, it's the revised guidelines on continuous trial. In civil cases, it's on the revision of Rule 13, 13A, and in the service of pleadings, Your Honor. Basically, it's a streamlined procedure that fast tracks everything. We put a a timeline for it, which is why there is now a faster delivery of decisions and resolutions from
So
the
the
courts.
continuous trial system, although overall it's been ideal
Yes, Your
and it's
Honor.
being followed, but
Yes,
there are in fact really cases of
Yes, Your Honor.
delays and not really being compliant with the continuous trial,
Yes, Your Honor.
continuous trial
Yes, Your
system.
Honor. Yes, Your
Because
Honor.
it would take 5 years, 7 years, just
Yes,
like
Your Honor.
the disposition of the cases against me. Now, I also
Yes.
understand that the delays are often caused by other justice sector agencies. And you mentioned about the JSCC. Kasi yung delays hindi lamang on the part of the judges,
Yes, Your
and
Honor.
would also on the part of the DOJ through the prosecutors and even the public attorney's office. And you mentioned earlier about, there are always various strategies and motions being filed just to delay. So in that regard, the mechanisms in dealing with those delays attributed to the other justice sector actors are actually addressed through the JSCC. Is that the only mechanism you have now?
That's one of them, Your Honor. But I would like to think, Your Honor, that the delays is really into the procedural rules, because we really cannot step on the adjudicative process, which is substantive in nature. So the procedural rules, I may be happy to tell you, Your Honors, even if this is still undergoing, there are current subcommittees formed by the Supreme Court, a revision on the rules on criminal procedure, rules on evidence, rules on special proceedings, rules on ethics, rules on civil procedure. Even if it was just amended last 2020 during the pandemic, it is still undergoing
There is
revision.
regular
Yes.
regular
Yes, Your Honor.
updating
Yes,
of
Your
all
Honor.
this
Yes, Your Honor.
these rules. And I could also say that with respect to JSCC, that one of its remarkable initiatives are the creation, of the justice zones.
Yes, Your
And you even have special justice zones. Is the creation of the justice zones still being implemented?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Ongoing po yun.
Very much active, Your Honor.
Nadadagdagan
Opo.
yung mga justice zones, including the special justice
Yes.
zones. So I have a few minutes left or a few seconds left. May I just tackle something? This has nothing to do with the budget,
Yes, Your Honor.
but I just noticed, and I think some other lawyers would also would agree with me, this observation that there are more and more cases now of acquittals being elevated to appellate courts. It's either through the regular appeal or through certiorari.
So sure.
And we know, all of us, the lawyers know about the rule of finality and unappealable acquittals,
Yes,
subject to certain exceptions laid down by jurisprudence.
Yes, Your
but
Honor.
only jurisprudence, like sham trials,
Yes.
that it's mistrial, there is violation of due process on the part of the prosecution. But is there any move or any plan for the judiciary as a whole, especially for the Supreme Court, to really look into those rising cases of acquittal being appealed despite the constitutional prescription against double jeopardy?
Yes, Your Honor. I am aware, Your Honor, that there is, because the rules are ongoing, being drafted, and it still has to be submitted to the Supreme Court and Bank. But I do know for a fact, Your Honor, that it's within the context provision of Rule 65, and it's being re-examined, Your Honor.
So it's good to hear that,
Yes,
the
Your Honor.
re-examination of
Yes,
that,
Your Honor.
to prevent further, it's becoming to be a phenomenon,
Yes,
actually.
Your Honor. Yes, Your
So
Honor.
please
Yes.
seriously re-examine this situation. Thank you
you
very
very
much. That's all I have for now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Minority Leader Laila De Lima. The next in the list is from the majority, Congressman Tony Boy Roman. Floor is
Good
yours.
morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, Your Honors.
Good morning, Your Honor.
I think the line of questioning so far has been on the theme, justice delayed is justice denied. And also, especially if it's at the expense of the marginalized. Yeah, one sector was farmers. I think you have the data. You know the data more than I do with respect to Supreme Court cases. But am I correct in assuming that a lot of these cases involve land and also agrarian issues, agrarian cases?
We have designated special courts, Your Honors, to act on agrarian disputes. We designate cadastral courts, Your Honor, and there are in every city or municipality.
But with respect to pending cases in the Supreme Court, do you have a program in place to actually close the gap or bridge the gap in these cases, or like a prioritization of cases so that older cases are resolved sooner than later?
Your Honor, since that is that your comment and your observations being taken note of, Your Honor, and we will bring it to the attention of the NBank, Your Honor, to take to particular focus on the agrarian cases and the marginalized farmers.
Oh, kaya ako binanggit yan. As a lawyer, marami ho lumalapit sa akin in Bataan. And of course, a lot of them are farmers. And they tell me, cases that have been pending for decades. So it's, wala ho kung may sagot. Kundi, ang final arbiter, sinasabi ko, Supreme Court. Another question is, well, first, I laud the Supreme Court for modernizing and embracing technology to expedite the administration of justice. In line with that, is there any effort to actually promote electronic discovery? Why is that? Because we all know that in these times, a lot of the information is already virtual. A lot of the information is online.
Yes.
In fact, the smoking gun, as they say, is found in emails. Kasi loose po eh. Yung email, so doon may masasabi, especially evidence of conspiracy. Yung sabwatan, nag-uusap sa isang kumpanya. But at the trial court level, where the litigants are supposed to have access to this information, they don't have the means, they don't know what the protocol is, they don't know how to do it, they don't know in what form they can get it, the scope of electronic discovery they're entitled to, whether it's just the email or including the metadata, yung mga fingerprints na humawak sa email, not in a virtual sense. They don't get a hold of that. And my impression is we're still in this stage of parang naka-print out pa rin yung mga ebidensya natin when we already know the conversation is happening as ephemeral data in Viber, in Telegram, email. So how is the Supreme Court addressing this evidence to make it more accessible to the parties para maiwasan yung taguan?
Thank you, Your Honor. Other than the rules on electronic evidence, there is a subcommittee again, Your Honor, on redrafting rules on evidence. And we will take note of that, Your Honor, and bring it to as one of their items for discussion and deliberation. It's still ongoing, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Is there an effort to make discovery electronic along the along that
Yes.
line?
Yes, Your
And make
Honor.
electronic discovery, especially electronic discovery, mandatory,
Yes, Your Honor.
so that the party is obligated to actually sit down with the adverse party and come up with a discovery protocol so that they can exchange information, so that the information will inform decisions and we will have better decisions.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. We will.
Meron.
Yes.
Second po yung sa in your presentation po earlier, I see yung mga technological reforms that you've been doing, which is great, the electronic filing. Meron na ho bang electronic filing at the trial court level and at the Court of
Yes
Appeals?
po. Yes,
Okay,
yes, Your Honor.
That's good to know.
Yes, it actually started with the civil cases, and the pilot port for criminal cases is with the Sandigan Bayan.
Oh, very
Yes,
good.
Your Honor.
Yung ano ho, is there an effort to authorize yung electronic notary, e-notary,
meron
and what is the status po of that? And if is a e-notary project reflected in the proposed budget?
Yes, Your Honor. It is for the yes, Your Honor. It should be reflected in the budget because it is in the redrafting again of our rules on e-notarization.
How
Which
much
is
was the
ongoing-
budget
which
for
is
that?
ongoing.
How big was the budget?
There's no wala naman pong particular.
Subject to bidding, or
Thank you po. There is I mean Okay, I'm sorry for the delay in the answer, Your
Opo.
Honor.
No.
But there is a committee on e-notarization. As a matter of fact, Your Honor, headed by an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. And as of now, Your Honor, there is an ongoing a position open for an e-notary administrator. So there's a complement staff already to monitor the e-notarization documents.
and once it is launched or rolled out, ano ho, what is it would be applied to?
Yeah.
Can you expound
Yes, Your
exactly the
Honor.
scope of the?
Yes. Actually, Your
program?
Honor, notaries public are required to submit a scanned copy already of the notarized documents, and that is being tracked by our court management office. So we've started with that kind of submission. So there's a streamlined procedure for that one. But how to oversee it, how to supervise it, there's a committee, existing committee. We are just in need of an e-notarization administrator to be able to oversee the entire procedure.
Is a e-notary, will that be subject to bidding or?
Not a bidding, Your Honor. It's an app. It's an accreditation of. Sorry. Okay. Ay, oo naman. Sorry po. I seem to have misunderstood your question, but I get it now. Isn't it, Your Honor, that notaries public, simply because you're a lawyer, you're not automatically a notary public. You have to apply before a certain region, before the executive judge. And there are qualifications for it likewise because of the executive judge, there are rules to follow, and primary of them is the authentication of the signature, because we do know that there are a lot of notarized documents that do not even reflect a member of the bar. So we need to likewise control that process. But so far, our rules would say instead of submitting a notary the notarial register, these notarial documents are scanned and submitted through electronically through the executive judges or through their respective clerks of court, to which the clerks of court will now submit it to our centralized office of the court management office, which is why there is a need to now see through the entire thing because of the easier filing and submission through e-filing, Your Honors.
Is there any initiative to actually allow, because as we know, to get the document notarized, you need a personal appearance, to allow
Your
basically a
Honor.
video, like if video
Your
with that's what I mean by e-notary. Is there an
Yes, Your
effort in that direction?
There are rules on e-notarization, Your Honor.
And
It's
is
part
it
of it.
is it already in effect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Since the pandemic, Your Honor,
Okay.
it was made mandatory by the pandemic.
Last few questions. Regarding sa trial court po, is there an effort to promote to make it more to basically promote more frequent communication between the judge and the litigating parties? So more teleconferences, more letter writing, instead of having to file motions every time, or maybe a way of screening motions, like having a pre-motion hearing or conference, just to expedite the process and not be sort of held back by formalities in procedures?
Yes, Your Honor. We have actually, we're encouraging the use of video conferencing to be able to have a higher or wider reach out to our litigants. But insofar as the procedure on how to a judge to personally communicate with the litigants before a formal trial can begin, this is where we really take advantage of our pre-trial conferences, Your Honor, because everything has to be laid out there. If there's a possibility to even compromise it, we refer them to court annex mediation, even exercise an alternative dispute resolution through, with the judge, even judicial dispute resolution.
Can I ask one more last question? I have 30 seconds.
Last question, Congressman Roman.
Okay. Last question. For the convenience of lawyers, is there an effort to have a hub or database of MCLE programs so that lawyers who are, senior enough can just, borrow programs from a library, and then just subject to, verification of their attendance, they can comply with their MCLE requirements?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, most of some MCLE providers offer online remote at courses. I have attended, actually. I've seen my son attend one of them. So it's really ideal for those who are required to submit MCLE compliance, but they cannot do so because of illnesses, because of they're physically challenged, or by reason of age. There are courses available, Your Honor.
Yeah, thank you, Congressman Roman. I'd just like to pursue that question. So now, entirely, an MCLE can be online? Can you clarify that? Entirely? So that an applicant, a lawyer, can get that online for all the, is it 36 units?
Yes.
Yes. Credit. So is that available now?
There are available courses online, Your Honor.
Out already, yeah? Full.
There are also hybrid. There are also face-to-face.
I'm referring to full.
Yes.
Full online.
Yes.
It's allowed.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, so it is allowed.
Thank you. So that answers the question for seniors like us.
Opo.
And the list is going now to the minority. We have Assistant Minority Leader JP Padiernos over here.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po sa ating judiciary. Of course, our Supreme Court, Sandigan Bayan, Court of Appeals, Tax Appeals, and the OCA. I'd like to commend the OCA for a good presentation a while ago. Mukhang we are in good hands kasi katabi mo pa yung mga former OCA natin.
Opo, maraming
Si
salamat
Justice
po, Your Honor.
Mardas and Justice
Yes po.
Villanueva.
Yes po.
So, a lot of the questions were actually propounded already, and i-touch upon ko lang po yung sa ating dockets na in 2023, yung congested dockets po natin na pending case stood at 616,458 and nag-increase pa po ito by 3.5% in 2024, now totaling 637,919. So, alam ko po, nasagot nyo na po kanina with the rules that you're trying to amend now. But I hope we can get a commitment from the judiciary that we can really improve this so that we can, sabi nga po ni Kong Roman, di ba? Justice delayed is justice denied. Can we get that commitment first from the judiciary po?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. We have the commitment actually, which is why the SPJI is really ushers in everything. That's why the guiding principle is timely, accessible justice, so that we deliver justice in real time. And if we look at the accomplishment rate, Your Honor, we dispose more cases than they are filed. So it really goes beyond the 1:1 clearance rate with the accomplishment rate that we've had reported.
That's good to hear, Mr. Chair. Yung sa ano naman po yung sa ating unfilled vacancies. As of 2024 po kasi 41,587 permanent positions in the judiciary, 12,000 po doon remain unfilled. And 95% po nun ay sa SCLC alone. So, of course, it's imperative that we rationalize the judiciary's unfilled position in the context of our Government Optimization Act. So, may quick question lang po ako doon. Do we continue to experience shortages po of judges and court personnel to handle the caseloads? Or what's the underlying reason po for the unfilled position?
The process of filling in the positions, Your Honor, is really continuous because we from the court administrator we keep requesting the JBC to fill the positions, but there is a certain process, if I may reveal it, Your Honor. Sometimes positions are created, but we still need it undergoes a process because we need to get DBM's NOSCA. But hopefully, moving forward with the Republic Act 12233, if DBM does not give the NOSCA within 120 days, then the Supreme Court through the NBank, through the Chief Justice, may be able to undergo appropriate remedies with which to cure it. So the waiting process is no longer, it's a little bit mitigated. But filling in positions, Your Honor, other than the NOSCA, we need to find a physical office for the judge and the complement staff, which is why, Your Honor, if I make an appeal likewise, thank you very much for creating or enacting laws to create positions. But we do hope and pray that with this creation of additional positions, the office will likewise be considered, the physical office. Because sometimes we need to, there's a staff involved, but there is no office to accompany the personnel and the judge himself or herself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On to the technological advancement and digitalization, I just wanted to commend the judiciary for its efforts po on in transitioning into the digital era, particularly with the implementation of electronic filing. So this innovation has not only improved the speed and efficiency of filing processes, but also reduced the reliance on paper-based pleadings. Alam niyo po, I used to practice law. I did litigation for a while, and ngayon with all these developments, parang nakakamiss. But definitely, I'd like to commend, of course, yung minention din po ni Kong Roman, yung ating e-notary. That's a good development also for the judiciary. On to my last topic po on judiciary marshal. So, Mr. Chair, the creation of the judiciary marshals under RA 11691 was meant to respond to threats and attacks against judges and court personnel. As we discuss the budget, it is important to look at how far implementation has gone and what resources are needed to make this office truly effective. My first question po, as on staffing and deployment, what is the current staffing complement of the Office of the Judiciary Marshals, and how does this compare with the proposed staffing pattern?
As of now, Your Honor, there only the heads of the offices through retired Police General Manuel R. Garland and his 3 deputy marshals are appointed. The complement staff are yet to be appointed. If I'm not mistaken, that should amount to 1,043 positions, Your Honor. And it is actually included in our MR, requests for reconsideration. So in the amount of 710,904,464. So 1,043 positions.
Is this, Mr. Chair, the targeted number of marshals in 2026, or?
Yes, Your Honor, 2026. So in
Okay.
the meantime, we have to the Office of the Judiciary Marshals have to simply deliver their best with what they have as of now.
Mr. Chair, pwede po ba natin malaman how much funding po ang na-allocate sa OJM in the 2026 NEP? And is this sufficient to cover its immediate operational requirements?
It is not sufficient, Your Honor, which is why we are asking that it be included in the budget, Your Honor.
With the indulgence of Congressman Padiernos, the 1,043, where are they supposed to be assigned to? So that, yeah, who? Which judges? It's nationwide, correct, but RTC, CA, and so can you tell us the plan for the 1,043 so that we'll exactly know if we fund this amount that you requested, then who will be protected by this 1,043 marshals?
The deputy marshal should represent Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, Your Honor. The complement staff,
The 143,
yes, Your Honor.
1,043. Sino yung ikuan nila? Safeguard.
Supposedly, Your Honor, where the office of, because we've decentralized some of the functions of the court administrator through the creation of the office of the regional court managers. So where a regional court manager is, there is likewise, ideally, Your Honor, with the 1,403 staffs of the Judiciary Marshal's office, there should likewise be a member of the office of the Judiciary Marshal, so that they can have a better coordination with the judges and with the Judiciary Marshals alike and the staff.
Still unclear to me because we're talking here of 1,043 granting that we will work on that. There will be regional judiciary, okay, offices. But who exactly, how can they protect? Because we want protection of our judges and justices. How can that be? Like, how many will be assigned to the Court of Appeals? How many will be assigned to the Sandigan Bayan? How many will be assigned to the Court of Tax Appeals? How many to the RTCs? Are the MTCs, MPCCs also covered by these marshals? Where will they be based?
Your Honor, as of now, because of the number of judges that we have, 3,063 only for lower courts, other than the appellate level courts, it is not expected that in each court there is a judiciary marshal. We still need to station them, Your Honor, as a process of deployment. And the best way to station them, as how we foresee it now, Your Honor, is where the station of the office of the regional court manager is.
Can you submit to this
Yes,
committee
Your Honor. Yes,
before
po.
the plenary
Deployment.
the assignment, the proposed assignments
Yes, po.
of this 1,043,
Yes.
so that it can help us in the plenary be able to explain, because there may be questions on how
Yes,
they will be
Your Honor.
deployed. Thank you. Can you
Yes,
proceed?
Your Honor. Thank you,
Congressman
Your Honor.
Padierno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Going along, Mr. Chair, just wanted to know also, are there identified funding gaps, particularly for recruitment, training, and equipment that we should here in Congress consider addressing?
If there are gaps, Your Honor, what we can foresee for the judiciary marshal, because a judiciary marshal has to undergo training. We are supposed to create a judiciary marshal academy, but it's still not in the works because it's still being rolled out, Your Honor, which is why thank you, Mr. Chair, that we should really look into the particulars of how to really deploy it, Your Honor. If there are gaps, in anything other not related to judiciary marshals, I can pinpoint to probably the infrastructure on the modernization of the courts, Your Honor, because this is really a lot to cascade to. Courts, if we ever travel, are really used to paper-based documents and paper-based records. Actually, even the rules of court will still maintain the provision that our court proceedings should maintain a record. So the deployment it should be gradually, which is why we are likewise strategizing how to ask for our budget. But that is eventually the plan, the strategic plan, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on my last point for the Judiciary Marshal, can the Judiciary commit to submitting a clear roadmap with milestones and budget requirements for the full operationalization of the OGM in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Yes, Your
thank
Honor.
you.
Thank you.
So finally, this representation fully supports the funding for the Judiciary Marshals as na kailangan po talaga natin to. And as I from my knowledge, ibang-iba pong bansa meron din ganito.
Yes po.
So we can protect the integrity and independence of the judiciary. So, especially their safety also. So, Mr. Chair, I'd just like to make my last manifestation. This representation fully supports, not only fully supports the proposed budget of the judiciary, but also proposes for the increase or to augment the budget of the judiciary para po sa ating mga kababayan, lalo na po ma-improve ang ating justice system. And yun lang po, maraming salamat po. At last point lang po, it's isa pong malaking karangalan makaharap po ang ating mga justices. As a former practitioner, it's a really great honor. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat po, Your Honor.
Thank you, Minority Leader JP Padiernos, for your statement of support not only to approve the NEP proposed budget, but to increase it.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is music to our ears. Thank you.
Thank you,
So
Your
we
Honor.
proceed now to the next interpellator, who will be the Honorable Vice Chair Brian Poe.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. And of course, to our justices, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Tulad ng sinabi ni Congressman Padiernos, isang malaking karangalan po ito para sa akin na naging Vice Chair po ako sa inyong pandinig para sa budget niyo po. So to begin, when it comes to the needs of our constituents, malapit talaga sa puso ng mga kababayan natin ang hustisya. So with that being said, I actually want to highlight some of the efforts of the judiciary, specifically yung e-courts and our video conferencing. I believe when we started these programs way back, we saw an initial uptick in the number of cases that we were able to hear. Do you have any of the current statistics on e-courts and video conferencing? How many cases have been processed through e-courts?
As of now, Your Honor, we do not have we are not in possession of the exact statistics, but we can provide it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po. It's something that I want to showcase to our kababayans to show that justice is accessible. No.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
On that note, may I ask what is being done to improve our e-court system, our video conferencing, para maging mas accessible para sa mga kababayan natin?
Your Honor, the video conferencing is very much dependent on the ICT equipment, which is why part of the modernization package that we were asking to be included in our budget is the procurement of this ICT equipment. And that is really the plan, Your Honor. If it really goes on full throttle, this e-court version 2.0, if all courts will be able to have the resources available on ICTs, then there will be no problem even to resorting to video conferencing and monitoring it, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, may I ask, how much are we looking at if we want to include this ICT?
Around 4 billion, Your Honor.
4 billion. But that's nationwide, lahat magkakaroon ng access na.
Yes, Your Honor, nationwide.
Mr. Chair, 4 billion pesos, I believe the President has been trying to divert or convince Congress to divert some infrastructure spending to soft spending that people will really feel. Kumbaga, 4 billion pesos compared to some of the infrastructure projects and magiging nationwide ito, lahat magkakaroon ng access. I believe this is a worthwhile expense, worth discussing with leadership here in the House. So if we can have exact figures on that, and if ever you are able to acquire the 4 billion for next year, what are the chances that this can really be adopted within the year?
This is actually a project undertaken by none other than our Senior Associate Justice Marvic Leonen, and he's really into it, Your Honor. If I can listen to his plans for, it would appear that just the end of this year, there's actually pilot courts already who have already witnessed the dashboard of the e-court version 2.0. That's in Davao. Other than Davao, we have Bacolod, Tagum, Baguio, Makati City, Your Honor. So with all those, the success in the pilot projects, Your Honor, we're really ready to roll out by next year, hopefully by January 2026.
That's fantastic. If we can partner your pilot data with the data we currently have on e-courts and the number of cases that are heard, we can make a strong case for increasing the budget of the judiciary para mas accessible po ang hustisya para sa mga kababayan natin. Is there more data that you would like to share?
Yes,
Or
Your Honor, because you were asking a preliminary data on the number, let's see how the use or resort to video conferencing can be a better access to serve justice. As of from January to August 2025, Your Honor, the number of PDLs released via video conferencing hearing is 6,232. Thank you, Your Honor. And
Mr. Chair, for the record, that's 6,232
232
individuals that
Yes.
benefited and were given their liberty because of video conferencing, not at its full potential.
Yes,
So
Your
if we
Honor.
can increase accessibility, hopefully we can increase the number of PDLs. And I believe the president himself set a goal of trying to release as many PDLs as possible through proper court proceedings. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor. As a matter of fact, Your Honor, any accused who is a person deprived of liberty, courts usually resort to video conference hearings. And I have the statistics for it, Your Honor. From the BJMP alone, we have a total of 220,975 video conference hearings conducted. From Bucor, the Bureau of Corrections, we have a total of 6,946 hearings conducted. And from the courts, we have a 120,860 video conference hearings conducted. Thank you,
And
Your Honor.
I assume this is with minimal ICT equipment, no?
Yes, Your Honor. Sometimes the judge would provide for himself or herself personally.
Sana
Yes, Your
Congress can provide that for our judges,
Yes, Your
no?
Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
So I'll ask if you could submit to this representation the necessary data so that
Yes,
we
Your
can
Honor.
discuss amongst the Appropriations Committee how we can help. Next is I would also like to highlight the efforts of the Judiciary to look into AI. I believe that the Judiciary, one of the first in Southeast Asia already to look at an AI framework for the Judiciary. Can you tell us a bit more about how you're preparing for the advent of AI?
The Chief Justice is very vocal on artificial intelligence, Your Honor, especially on research. But we have likewise been or actively training our judges that it should just be a tool, which is reflected in the provisions of our new Code of Judicial Conduct, because sometimes there are more often than not lawyers who simply resort to artificial intelligence without necessarily verifying the data. That's why we are actively telling our judges not to be more conscious of resort to AI technology, that it should not there should be human intervention all the time, because it should simply be used as a tool but not as it is to prepare our decisions and orders.
Opo, I believe you're currently working on a framework internally on how to deal with AI, no?
Yes. Yes, thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you. So moving from there, I want to discuss quickly yung legal aid natin. So can you give me a bit of an overview on the free courts that you provide for indigents and easier access for PDLs aside from yung video conferencing natin?
Your Honor, I was just handed statistics since on statistics on video conference hearings conducted, and this is from our MIS, or from our Management Information System. Since this is 2020, Your Honor, since 2020 when pandemic struck. So as of December 15, 2024, it has become really effective because the video conference hearings conducted numbered 1,582,143, criminal cases of which is 1,475,702. And then if we look at the July 15, 2025 figures, the VCH hearings conducted number 1,632,163, criminal cases of which are 1,524,761. So it has really been very effective, Your Honor. Instead of canceling the hearing, we really proceed with it from remote locations.
So you would say, in your opinion, but this is badly needed to advance our legal systems.
Yes, Your Honor.
I have a question, the indulgence of Congressman Poe. How much is the percentage of these millions of conferences in the totality of our trial court system?
Percentage of video calls.
Yeah, percentage, which if you take the totality, everything will now be video conference hearings, then how much is that? Because our intention, as proposed by our good Vice Chairman, is to really, give you the budget so that everything will now be video conferencing if possible, because it saves time. I have been practicing for 35 years before I became commissioner and then congressman. So, yeah, I mean, it will be easier for everybody. Judges, lawyers, clients, to be able to have that. So what is that percentage now, and what do you propose for 2026 so that we will really have video conference hearings all over the country in all courts?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. If so far, Your Honor, when a hearing involves a person deprived of liberty, parang default na po yan video conference hearing. So they don't have to come to court. So if for those criminal cases, video conference hearing po, and then compare it with the civil cases and other criminal cases that would require our default system on face-to-face hearing, video conference hearings would roughly be estimated to constitute at least mga 25 to 30% of our trial system, of our proceedings.
You're now doing 25% already?
Yes, Your Honor.
But,
Yes, Your Honor.
But my experience in Cagayan de Oro, there's still persons deprived of liberty. They're brought by the prisoners' vans and buses that I have requested every year from the BJMP. So not all are into video conferencing on PDLs, because I can see them. I go to the jail and they are transported and they are personally appearing. So is that? I'm sure it's not yet 100% for PDLs,
Yes.
which you have stated.
yeah.
Can you clarify that?
Yes.
Because in many jails, they're still bringing prisoners
Yes.
for hearing in the courts themselves.
Yes.
Yes, can we have the explanation?
Let me correct it po, Your Honor. I'm sorry for that. While the courts are ready to conduct video conference hearings, sometimes there are variables that we need to factor in, such as the lack of equipment from the jail facility itself or lack of Wi-Fi access. So that can happen, Your Honor. So if
Intend to also install. It will not be the BJMP that will be purchasing this online connection, but will it be the courts or we give it to the BJMP so that they'll be connected to the courts?
Yes, Your Honor, because of Araulio versus Aquino, I think the BJMP has to purchase or procure its own equipment because for their own funds and connectivity. That will be from DOJ funding, Your Honor. Perhaps
Let's just focus
Yes.
on the judiciary. So next year, if we give you 4 billion, how much percentage of all possible hearings of all the courts, the Supreme Court to the our special courts and then our lower courts, how many would be given that particular equipment and to be able to conduct hearings? If we give the 4 billion that you are saying.
Yes, if all courts are now all equipped with the digital infrastructure that we need, including the ICT equipment, then depending, as guided by our rules on video conferencing hearings, Your Honors, it should run 100%. It should, Your Honor, next year. Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I've looked at your proposal for 21.7 billion, correct? That's what you're asking. That's the total amounts being requested for
Yes, for the
reconsideration.
MR. Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I have
Yes,
it
Your
here.
Honor.
I don't see the 4 billion here for ICT equipment.
That's why they need us, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, but it's not requested. It's not part of the request. How is that?
Because it is under our SPJI program, Your Honor.
Oh, where is that here? Pages, we refer to pages 16 17, and 18. That is the total 21.76 billion. So, saan dito yung yung ICT that Congressman Poe is trying to help you?
Pwede natin kunin ito.
Hindi yan. They already
Wala.
gave us that. Ito naman, we're requesting.
Mr. Chair, baka it was suggested to the DBM but it wasn't included in the NEP? Is that what happened?
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor.
but they have to be part of the 27.721 billion that you're requesting, because we are going to meet with our chair and the vice chair precisely based on your request 21.76 billion. Wala dito yung capital outlay nyo is only your capital outlay is only 3.5 million for transportation and intangible assets of 1 million.
Yes.
So saan dito yon?
You really have an eagle eye, Your Honor. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
we really-
Your
I
Honor.
cannot defend you in
Yes,
our
po.
committee hearing with the chair if it's not in the
Yes,
request.
we will add it, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Please
very
add
much, Your
them
Honor.
as soon as
Yes, po.
possible. Please proceed, Congressman Po.
That's
Thank
2
you,
billion,
Mr.
Your
Chair.
Honor. 2 billion po. 2 billion. Yes po. Yes po, 2 billion. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
The judiciary is too humble. Kaya we'll help them.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
With that being said, I also want to move on to continuing that line of thought on free legal aid. No, marami po akong kaibigan sa IBP, marami po akong kaibigan na nagbibigay ng libreng legal services, no, pro bono work. Is there any chance that the judiciary or the Supreme Court would be open to MCLE credits for pro bono work?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, there's a Republic Act that credits free legal service on the part of lawyers even before the rules on unified legal services came about. Pero sa ulas po, mas particular na yung number of hours rendered by a member of the bar who's qualified to render free legal aid service. Yes,
So
Your Honor.
just to continue, what is exactly the correspondent units for the number of hours served? Can we know?
Yes, Your
From the
Honor. It's
ulas.
12 hours, Your Honor.
If there is 12 hours units,
Yes, Your Honor.
credits, okay?
Accredited
For how
for
many
MCLE.
hours of pro bono work?
36 hours, Your Honor.
So
Yes.
the
But
lawyer should be able to time it.
yes, Your
Is there
Honor.
a certification from the regional executive judge?
Yes, Your Honor. We have our ULAS rules, Your Honor.
Okay, so they will get the entirely 12 units
Yes.
for 36 hours of.
MCL.
That's clear. Many are watching us lawyers. So lawyers should just, those watching us, continue to give pro bono.
Yes, Your Honor.
You will be exempted with 12 units
Yes, Your Honor.
if you have 36 hours in court pro bono. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I just had to ask that para, yes, we can remind our legal friends that there are credits that can be availed of for good service to our fellow kababayans. Actually, that ends my line of questioning because I'm really here to support the judiciary in their modernization, in their accessibility, and their provision of legal services to those in need. No, so I would like to manifest my support for the judiciary. And again, it has been an honor to preside over your budget with our chairman here. Maraming salamat po. And we will make a case for the increase in budget for our kababayans and for our justice system. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Your Honor.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Brian Poe, for your support for the budget of the judiciary, especially the specific fields that you want to be augmented. Our next interpellator is also from the Deputy Minority Leader, Tonji Tinio. Wala na? Basta pala. So then we go to Representative Rene Co. Wala na, so majority lang naiwan. Ako, we can decide immediately to increase all of this.
Mr. Chair,
Oh, wala. Hindi ka nalista dito, but we'll call you because this is the slot of the minority. We call on, you want to have a time, di ba? Yes.
yes, Mr. Chair, please.
Congressman Sergio Dagook is now recognized for the minority.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat, no? Especially to our justices, both from the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals.
Magandang umaga po.
Justice Raul is aware of my issue year in, year out. The former court administrator also, who is now Justice Marquez, no? Nagkakilala kami dahil sa issue na to. I hope, no, this will be the last budget hearing on my 7th year in Congress, because we're delivering justice and not paying, no, the power bills of the different courts of the country is also an injustice. Para may paliwanag ko lang, mostly these courts are found in the different provinces or in some cities under the area coverage of the electric cooperatives where I represent. So, para lang malinaw sa ating mga justices, distribution utilities lang po ang electric cooperatives. They are non-stock, non-profit, under PD 269. Yung pong binabayaran natin na 1 piso sa kanila, 17 centavos lang po yung natitira sa kanila, yung distribution charge. Kasi yung generation charge po, which constitute 60 to 65% o 65 centavos per piso, sa planta po yon, because we are not generating, we are only distributing. Yung 12 centavos po doon, sa BIR po yon, taga-kolekta lang kami. Yung 10 centavos sa national grid, yung transmission line po natin. So, in every piso na hindi nababayaran, yung 17 centavos natin na matitira, supposed to be for the operation, naghahanap pa po tayo ng pangdagdag na another 17 centavos para mapunan yung 65 centavos. Puputulan po kasi tayo ng planta pag hindi tayo So, may I reiterate my appeal for the 7th year, not to the Court of Appeals, but to all the justices. May appeal na to find ways. Ginawa na po to ni Justice Marquez nung time niya, pero mayroon pang mga hindi na plansa. Pinapine-tune to ni Justice Villanueva. Kakaunti lang yung panahon niya, pero may malaking improvement na, no? May mga na-assign na tayo na mga finance doon na mga judges sa mga regions. Sana po ay matapos na to. Anyway, may budget naman kayo. For example, ngayon, can I respectfully ask, magkano yung budget natin sa utilities for 2026?
MOOE po kasi. We will just check, Your Honors. That's under MOO. Yes. But Your Honor, if you may be interested to know, with the creation of our Office of Regional Court Managers, they're actually tasked to monitor payment of utilities from water for different regions. That will be constitute water, electricity. So meron na pong nagmo-monitor noon, Your Honor. They make sure that electricity in particular is paid. So for
Yes po, Mr. Chair. Yan po yung iniwan ni Justice Raul bago siya umalis. Yung pagtalaga ng mga regional sa finance na gumagana na po yan, at least mga 4 months now in Caraga, because I'm also managing 2 electric cooperatives in Caraga.
okay po.
So, but in other regions, malaki pa po yung kailangan nating, in millions pa po. In some regions po, mayroon pang mga 2021 prior na
yes
hindi
po.
natin na-settle.
Yes
Baka po pwede na
Yes po.
yung in charge doon,
Yes,
titingnan kung valid pa yung mga bills na yon.
Yes po.
Baka pwede pong masettle.
Yes po.
May I just respectfully ask kung sino yung bibigyan ko ng kopya para at least ma-verify.
Kami na lang po, Your Honor, so we can talk to
Tumuturo
the
na si
RTM.
Justice Raul.
Yes po. Opo. Yes po.
So, yan lang naman po yung issue ko year in, year out in behalf
Yes,
of
po.
the electric cooperatives na nahihirapan na pong isubsidize muna yung pambayad sa planta
Yes po.
at nagamit na nila yung pansahod sa mga empleyado. just to be able to continue serving the areas under their franchise. So, before I end, Mr. Chair, I would like to reiterate every year my manifestation for the support of the budget of the judiciary, no? Hiwalay naman po mamaya yung DOJ because napakalaking napakalaking gamit po ng judiciary para maibalik yung tiwala doon sa mga opisina na parang hindi na pinaniwalaan ng ating mga kababayan na nagbabayad ng buwis. Sila po yung final arbiter kung naibigay ba doon sa mga taxpayers yung hostisya. So maraming salamat po Mr. Chair, and with your kayo po yung mag-sponsor. I hope na yung mga napag-usapan kanina maibigay po sa kanila. Thank you Mr. Chair. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Representative Sergio Dagook, for your annual manifestation of support to the judiciary's budget and the increase of the budget. Thank you very much, my fellow Mindanaonon. Okay. So the next in the list is Congressman Mario Bangcoro, also from Mindanao. Where's Mario?
Mr. Chair.
Ayan. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Good
Mr.
morning
Chair.
po, Your Honor.
Good morning, Judiciary family. Madam Justice, yung concern ko is parokyal. Yung district ko kasi, mayroon lang isang second level court.
Yes po.
Ang problema po, ang active cases natin is 3,000 po. So, tinatanong ko yung judge, ang sitting nila is more or less 6 months. Ang kawawa, yung akusado, kung magkataon na nakaset na yung schedule niya, na postpone for some reason, magantay na naman siya ng another 6 months. So, grabe yung injustice po ang nangyayari. Ngayon, may na-create na 5 courts for second level on that particular district in the 19th Congress. So, baka pwede nating mahanapan ng paraan, mapadali yung implementation of that 5 courts, RTC courts. Kasi po, talagang kawawa yung mga yung mga akusado po. So, pwede ho bang maano natin yung commitment po?
May we get the detail, Your Honor, where the court is? So that,
First District, Zamboanga, Sibugay, ang kasalukuyang RTC namin is located at Imilda, Zamboanga,
yes,
Sibugay.
Your Honor. Thank you,
So,
Your Honor.
if you need space for that, I can
Ay,
coordinate
thank you,
with the
Your
local
Honor.
government
Thank
units
you, Your Honor.
para matulungan lang po natin.
Yes, we will coordinate, Your Honor, and try to verify it so that we can appoint assisting judges to be able to unload the docket, to unload the docket of the one station court, Your Honor.
Actually, Madam Justice,
And-
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
may assisting judges na doon.
Yes po.
Unfortunately, sa dami nga po,
Yes po. We can add
nasa
more, Your Honor.
3,000 po, hindi talaga kaya.
Opo. Opo.
So, kung ma-qualify ba siya sa Justice on Wheels, mayroon pa ba tayong ganun?
We will check into it because although it is repurposed, Your Honor, we've suspended its operation. But it is true it's supposed to serve the underserved areas. But I think the better remedy, Your Honor, will be if there are 5 created courts, is to look into it and then ask for the opening of the position as soon as the budget appropriations is there, Your Honor. We will ask JBC to open it so that the immediate appointment of the 5 judges for the 5 courts.
Okay. Next, thank you for that, Madam Justice, Mr. Chair. Second is, kasi yung probinsya namin is newly created, pero 20 years na po. Palagi naming naririnig na magkakaroon daw po kami ng Justice Hall. Pwede ba bang malaman natin na
Justice
including na ba siya sa pipeline? Hall of Justice. Zamboanga, Sibugay po.
Before the Justice would answer. Let me welcome our Chair of the Committee on Appropriations, Chair Mika Swansing.
Ay,
And let us hear her first.
good morning, Your Honor.
Ikaw na muna. Okay, so we can proceed with the answer to Congressman Bangkoro. Thank you.
This is just
Justice.
from coordination from our halls of justice, chief of office. We have 170 million. We have a pending purchase request for the construction of the Hall of Justice in Melda, Zamboanga, Sibugay.
Emilda or Ipil?
Ipil. In Ipil, Your Honor.
For your guidance, Madam Justice, it's in the 2nd district po yan. So baka pwedeng sa...
Ipil,
Opo,
dati
sa
po
district ko
Ipil.
po yon. Ibang district, 2nd district po yung Ipil. So with the enactment po ng 5 newly created RTC, magkaroon na po kami ng 6. So
Sige po, we'll coordinate.
pwede na po kaming entitle
Yes
one
po.
Justice Hall kasi 6 salas na po kami.
Sige po. Your Honor, if you can provide us the lot within which to build the Hall of Justice, that will be better. We can
I
coordinate.
can arrange po sa
Yes po.
mayor. In fact, I
Sige
initially talked with one of the mayors. Then, they're
Yes po.
willing. They're
Yes
willing
po.
po.
Yes,
Kung
we
may
can do that,
tao
Your
po
Honor.
kayong pwedeng bumisita sa
We will
sa
personally
district
go
po
there,
namin,
Your Honor.
we can facilitate for that po.
Yes po, Your Honor. We can coordinate po, Your Honor. And
Thank you
that
very
for
much, Madam.
That's a good development po. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Madam Justice.
Sige po.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No
Thank
further
you.
questions, Madam Chair.
Yeah,
Mr.
thank you.
Chair.
My good friend, since way back in the, we were
Actually, the
coordinating
chairperson
together.
is my ninong.
Yes, yun. And that is, we were also working together. To add to the statement and to question, I think it's about time that we open, not probably the 5 courts immediately. It has never done because of the budgetary needs. Could we have, how many of the 5 can you work for the opening to the JBC for appointment, for
Sabay-sabay na po. We can do it sabay-sabay po. Pwede po, Your Honor.
sabay-sabay. Thank
Yes,
you. So, Romy,
as long as it's-
okay na.
As long
Now-
as it's funded. As
Yes.
long as it's funded.
Now, how about the Hall of Justice? I don't see it in your program. Only Cagayan de Oro is clear here.
Wala po kasing
How
lupa, Your
about
Honor.
Imelda?
Imelda meron po, but Ipil wala pong... this is Imelda pala.
Oh, wala
Yes,
nga
Your Honor.
Imelda eh.
Opo.
So, isama mo na dito.
Yes. Sige po.
Sige.
So another
How much will that cost? Normally,
Hall of Justice.
a 5-court building.
Usually it's 5.
Kasi dito si Representative Romeo eh. So yun present today, yan ang isiguro namin na ma-propose.
Bibigyan na raw po
Chairman
namin.
is already here.
500.
Chairperson.
Assuming, Your Honor, that there is a lot within which to
There
build.
will be.
There will be 500 million, Your Honor.
Yan. So can you
Yes.
include
Yes,
in the
Your Honor.
submission
So over and above the 2 billion for infra,
another
500.
500? Kasi Mindanao ito eh. Let us also try to give justice
Yes, Your Honor.
to
Thank you, Your
Mindanao
Honor.
through the Hall of Justice, and then we can go in the opening
Yes,
of
Your
the 5.
Honor.
Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very much,
Thank you.
Justice Estuesta.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Your Honors.
Representative Romy Bacoro.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. May ninong po. Talagang ninong
Thank you.
talaga kita.
Ninong,
Walang favoritism.
maraming salamat po.
Next, meron bang minority? Wala na? Second round yan. Wala pa. First round pa tayo. Wala pa. So in that case, we'll call on Representative Chairperson of the Committee of Justice in this House, our Representative Jinky Luistro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good
morning, Your
morning to the justices of the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, and the Sandigan Bayan. We're honored to have you here in the House of Representatives.
Good morning, Your
And
Honor.
before I proceed to the question, I wish to express my warmest congratulations to our newly appointed court administrator of court, Madam Justice Estuesta.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
And Mr. Chair, we are discussing about capital outlay, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, you are so busy.
We're just talking about how the Vice President was very happy with the approval of the budget of OVP. So we're okay with the OVP, with Vice President Sara. Let us proceed with Secretary of Labor. What is your question?
Mr. Chair, I wish to solicit the support of the committee with regards to our concern as well on capital outlay. In the Regional Trial Court of Batangas, there's a newly created family court, and it has no court building yet. I heard Madam Justice said, so long as there's a lot, they will be committing to provide the infrastructure. So if the chair would allow this representation, I hope we can include that among the requests for additional allocation. The court building for the newly created family court of the Regional Trial Court of Batangas.
Please include,
Yes, Your Honor.
so that they'll be part of those that will be submitted. Another 500 million, is that the amount?
Another 500. How many? Which municipality is it, Your Honor?
This is Batangas City.
Oh, malaki yan, Batangas City.
So city.
Isang
Family
family court lang.
One
So,
family court.
How much do you suggest our chairperson, Jinky?
Just one.
How much?
100.
May
How much
we
will
know
that cost?
from our Madam Justice the allocation for one court building?
Yes.
One
For
family
our
court.
halls of justice, 100 million, Your Honor. For one court station, family court.
If that will be sufficient, Mr. Chair, to build a building for one family court, then I will be grateful to have one in the RTC of Batangas City.
Yes, Your Honor.
So also look at the future, you know.
Yes.
Batangas City will have more families, I'm sure,
Yes.
in the coming years. So make it two.
Yes,
So
Your
that
Honor.
hindi na tayo every year. Pumunta si chairperson dito. 200. Can you include there 200?
Yes, Your Honor. So we
Okay.
can likewise
So for two courts na, 290,
Thank you,
100.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Please
Thank you very
proceed.
much, Your
Yes.
If I may continue, Madam Justice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Of course, there are still a lot of court buildings which are within the perimeter of the local government units. May I know the percentage of these court buildings which operate still within the LGU's perimeters or facilities?
Most of them. There are 700 buildings that are being operated from the local government units, Your Honor. We are heavily dependent actually on local government units to provide us the buildings.
And you said, Madam Justice, that they are dependent on the LGU building. So may I know how we protect the image of judicial independence, considering that these are dependent on the LGUs?
Yes, Your Honor. With the Fiscal Autonomy Act, Your Honor, we are hoping that little by little, even from the allowances that our judges receive from the generosity of the local government units, we get away from that, Your Honor. That's why we really need to strategize on the monumental effect that the Fiscal Autonomy Act will have on the judiciary, so that we can provide our own halls of justice, including the operational logistics to the staff complement, Your Honor.
I hope we can consider that as one of our priorities.
Yes, Your Honor.
When we implement the fiscal autonomy of the judiciary that will be effective next year,
Yes, Your Honor. 2027.
2027.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that will be budget year
Yes, Your Honor.
2026, effective 2027.
Yes, Your Honor. That
We
is
will
correct.
be having our hearing for that 2027, next year already.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. For my next question, Madam Justice, of course, we have two concerns on decongestion. One is the docket. The other is the penitentiary facility. So with respect to the docket, Madam Justice, I heard about the JDR,
Yes, Your Honor.
the ADR, the mediation, and even pre-trial conferences. May I know what percentages of the court dockets are being resolved during JDR, ADR, the pre-trial, and the mediation?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, as of now, no specific, but we do maintain figures on that, Your Honor. Can we just submit the exact figures?
Yes, of course. Can we at least know whether you believe that these measures are successful in decongesting
Yes,
our
Your
dockets?
Honor, very much so. As a matter of fact, Your Honor, I don't know if I should reveal it, but preconditions to filing, we've actually adopting alternative disputes resolution, which is why we are really training our mediators from the PMCs to be able to have capability building on how to further exercise a mediation process. or alternative dispute resolutions.
And as the newly appointed court administrator, Madam Justice, do you have other measures in mind to further decongest our docket through measures like the JDR, ADR?
Yes, Your Honor. It's more on as of now. Again, Your Honor, I'm not sure if I'm at liberty to even speak, but only because I am privy thereto. Before to cure our decongested docket, it is a proposal that before one can even file a case in court, we are developing a rule that there should be at least a resort to 2 alternative dispute resolutions as a precondition to filing. So litigation is not, it's only an end cause. Parties should avail of every remedy that they have to resort to alternative dispute resolutions, mediation, conciliation, even from their elders in the family before they can even file a case in court. So that can declog our docket in court, hopefully, Your Honor.
I understand that mediation is mandatory. Is this correct, Madam Justice?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your
But with
Honor.
respect to JDR, ADR in the pretrial, this is still based on the discretion of the litigants.
Yes, Your Honor.
I
Yes,
see.
Your Honor.
And the next concern, Madam Justice, is the decongestion of the penitentiary facilities. I am inclined to believe that detention, imprisonment is still part of the administration of justice, notwithstanding the fact that this is within the jurisdiction of the PJMP and the Bureau of Corrections. May we know, Madam Justice, what measures or interventions does the judiciary have to address the decongestion of penitentiary facilities?
Okay. As one aspect, Your Honor, that we've brought up is the existence of our JSCC, the Justice Sector Coordinating Councils. So as we have clarified earlier, a case in court does not end with a judgment. So it should go beyond it. We should monitor if a convicted accused is enjoying conditions that are humane or reasonable. Are they eating meals 3 times a day? And this will require us to coordinate with our justice stakeholders, with the DOJ, BJMP. Your Honor. And likewise, the jail visits that are needed to be done by the judges themselves to be able to check on likewise on the conditions of the detainees before their courts.
Considering, Madam Justice, that the judiciary is the one primarily in charge with respect to the administration of justice, it is really my humble opinion that we should work together on this, because we've seen a lot of documentaries showing how desperate the situations of our PDLs are, not only in BJMP, but even in Bucor. We've seen that in a lot of documentaries in the past, no? If I may suggest, Madam Justice, perhaps we can create a task force, perhaps, or a commission to be joined by the BJMP, the Bucor, and the Judiciary, so we can address once and for all this desperate situation of our PDLs, Madam Justice.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. We will bring it to the one of the matters that our Justice Sector Coordinating Council should consider. Yes, Your Honor.
And for my conclusion, Madam Justice, of course, as the chair of the Committee on Justice of the 20th Congress, I'm expressing my full support to the request and even the request for additional allocation for the budget of the judiciary. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, our chairperson of the powerful Committee on Justice, and who is a shining light of Congress today, and that is Representative Chinky Luistro. Thank you very much for your statement of support for the budget of the judiciary, and also its augmentation, correct?
Yes,
Also
Your
the augmentation. Thank you.
Honor, for Batangas.
Before we proceed, let me just announce the invitation of our speaker and our chairperson, Mika Swansing. All justices, the court administrator, the assistant court, and then the deputy are invited after this hearing to have lunch at the social hall of the Speaker's office. And so we only have at this point only 3 more plus 1 second round. So we have only 4. So in other words, please do not eat what is given to you now because there's a better deal at the social hall for you. Okay, so thank you very much. So with that clarified, we now go to the third to the last interpellator, and this is back to the minority. We have the Honorable Robert Nasal. The floor is yours, Robert.
Yes. Good morning, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning to our esteemed justices and members of the Supreme Court.
Good morning, Your Honor.
So I just have a few questions. Based on the report, there are 41,587 permanent positions in the judiciary as of 2024, and a total of 12,039 remain unfilled, of which the Supreme Court and lower courts accounted for 11,511, or 95.6% of total unfilled positions during the same period. May I ask, what is the reason for bakit po tayo nagkakaroon ng problema in terms of hiring and filling the positions?
One, basically, Your Honor, is a position cannot be immediately filled if it does not yet have a NOSCA from the DBM, Your Honor. So the waiting process before that position can be filled or even opened up to fill in the vacancy. But Your Honor, we want to assure you, Your Honor, that we are constantly monitoring the vacancies involved. So as soon as we are assured of the process, that the NOSCA availability and the funding for it, we immediately ask the JBC if it would concern a judge concerned or our own selection and promotions board for the staff complement, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Just clarify, because under Section 7 of Republic Act 12233, creation of offices and reorganization of the administrative structure, it provides here that I see no need to go to NOSCA and the DBM.
Yes po. Yes po. That
So there is
true.
no more NOSCA for the Supreme
Yes,
Court.
Yes, Your Honor.
So under this bill, in answer to Congressman Robert Nasal, it says here that the Supreme Court, here you go, shall create positions and allocate the necessary budgetary support for the operations of such offices. So therefore, the creation of offices at the regional level shall be guided by the principle of decentralization of administrative, financial, and personnel matters. So clearly, so you can immediately create positions and the items there and get the budget from what you have.
Yes.
So can we therefore get the answer to Congressman Nasal on how to fill up and all of those?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, but since the rules on the TWG is supposed to create the rules on the effects of the Fiscal Autonomy Act, I can only probably say, Your Honor, that those unfilled positions were created and funded before the Fiscal Autonomy Act. So we can only look forward and create positions this time around without going through the DBM. Or if the DBM does not create it, still the default DBM does not give it out in 120 days, then appropriate measures can be undertaken by the Chief Justice.
That's correct. So you need to have the TWG first.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then the rules and regulations
Yes,
of
po.
this. But Section 8 is very clear also,
Yes.
Congressman Robert. Section 8 of the new law states that the Supreme Court shall have the authority to determine the number and positions of court personnel necessary for the operations of the judiciary. So within the limits of the appropriation. So you are the power to be able to create positions and put items and appoint them.
Yes.
So thank you, but let's await the TWG and the rules and regulations under Section 10, implementing rules and regulations. Okay, together with the DBM and COA, Supreme Court shall promulgate the rules and regulations to carry out the intent within 6 months. So you can do it earlier.
Yes, po.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
Please
you very
proceed,
much.
Congressman Robert.
Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Chair. And considering, ma'am, considering the new provision as stated by the chairman, what is the timeline for us to fill up the positions? And how many positions po ba yung kailangan natin ma-fulfill?
If it's before the Fiscal Autonomy Act, Your Honor,
No, moving forward.
moving forward, we have 6 months to come up with the IRR, and then it needs a lot of strategic planning, Your Honor, and the budget linkage. So it has to be within after 6 months, hopefully po within the next 6 months again or a year.
So is this a major contributor to the backlog in terms of the cases, the case backlog?
Not necessarily, Your Honor, but it can speed up and the manner with which we undertake our adjudication function.
But in terms of budgetary, wala naman po kayong problema for the in terms of the budget to fulfill the positions.
We do need the budget, Your Honor. Yes. Po.
Okay.
But at this time around, we're given more leeway or autonomy to decide our personnel, our infrastructure, and our MOOE without undergoing the executive oversight of the DBM.
I just have one more question. Do you have personnel within the judiciary who are classified as job order and contract of service?
For some courts, yes, Your Honor, but for the Supreme Court, most of them are casuals and contractuals.
So contract of service po.
Contractuals,
Yes, yes.
yes, contract of service, yes, Your Honor.
So are they napapractice po ba natin yung provision under Republic Act 11861 applying to solo parents, yung 7-day leave for JOs and COS or yung mga contract of service?
Yes, Your Honor, since it's a legal provision, we have to comply with it, Your Honor, to uphold it.
So,
Yes,
so
Your Honor.
all JOs or contractual contract of service personnel are allowed a 7-day leave. Solo parent, yung mga solo parents po. And is it part of their contract that they are allowed a 7-day leave?
We should apply it, Your Honor, but perhaps we need to, if that's the case, we need to tweak the provisions that we have, no, in every contract for every contractual. Opo.
Yun lang po ang
Yes po. But
hinihingi
it's good to
namin.
note it, Your Honor.
Yes. So if
Solo parent.
just so that the solo parents under those types of employment
Yes.
can enjoy the
Yes, Your
law
Honor.
as stated
Yes,
dun
Your
po sa
Yes.
sa RA 11861.
Yes.
So I just like to manifest that lahat po ng increase na hinihingi po ng Supreme Court, I am in support of that under the minority and the judiciary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Thank you.
Was not listening, so thank you very much. But I know without listening that Congressman Robert Tasal is supporting the budget, correct?
Yes po. Yes po.
The budget of the judiciary. I know that because Congressman Robert is always supportive, especially on the judiciary. We're now on the last 3 plus 1 second round. So now I call on the Honorable Returnee, our congressman from previous Congresses. Now he's back. The Honorable Congressman Mauricio Dumogan of Baguio City.
Okay. Good morning, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, Private Dumugan will ask abbreviated question because it's already past 12 o'clock. Good known to the members of the family of the Judiciary, the Justices of the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, the Sandigan Bayan, the Court of Tax Appeals, and the representatives of the lower court. I want to, of course, manifest at the outset that we are with my colleagues totally supporting the budget of the judiciary, including those that have been somewhat added in these proceedings. Now let me focus to my point. I'm referring to the somewhat appearing ambiguity or somewhat conflict between substantive law and procedural law, particularly on the aspect of expropriation. Republic Act 1752 and 8974 with respect to Rule 67 of the Rules of Court. Right. In Republic Act 8974, as a requisite for expropriation, the plaintiff shall deposit the 100% value of the property based on the zonal valuation of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. And as stated in Republic Act 10752, zonal valuations within 3 years from the date of the filing of the expropriation proceedings. The Rule 67 is silent on this point because Rule 67 states that it can deposit, the plaintiff can deposit initial payment, contrary to what is stated in the substantive law that 100% of the zonal valuation. Now, can you please take note of this one and try to come out with a clear reconciliation of this one so that I am sure, it can speed up expropriation cases.
Yes.
Second point that I want to bring to the attention of the judiciary. There are instances wherein the land is long time occupied by government without following the process of expropriation. Now, Rule 67 is silent because there must be, supposedly, if it's not yet occupied, there must be first writ of possession after payment of the deposit before the plaintiff will be allowed to occupy this property. But in this situation, the property was occupied already by the plaintiff in 1956. The rule is silent on this point. So I hope you come out with somewhat a provision that will address this point. And the last point that I want to bring to the judiciary, the determination of just compensation. With all due respect to the justices of the Supreme Court, if we look at the decisions of the Supreme Court on this issue, it's not uniform. A lot is seeing market value of the property at the time of taking, which is somewhat contrary to what is stated in Republic Act 10752 and Republic Act 8974. Like in this particular case, the value of the property in 1956, 5 pesos per square meter. That when converted into commercial status, the zonal valuation is 1,500. Still, the court is following the the market value in 1956. It's too much injustice to the owner of the property whose property had been taken in 1956, deprived of the enjoyment of his titled property. Rule 67 on this point is somewhat silent. I hope again that this must be addressed in the power of the Supreme Court in the revision of rules to speed up the delivery of justice. The last point, how I wish, I'm sure you have included it, you came out with certain schedules that in expropriation cases, it must be speed up. Unfortunately, I happen to handle a lot of them. It took us 20 plus years before it's finally decided by the Supreme Court that the owner of the property had gone ahead the other life before it was finally decided. It's a pity. It is good only for the NPA to say justice in our system is not that effective. You do not need the I do not need the answers, but I brought out those points because to me it's very important. So again, manifest our support to the budget of the judiciary, including the additionals, not only for the budget in Mindanao, including the other areas of the Philippines. My chairman, my chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. If I may, Your Honor, actually all the points that you have raised, Your Honor, the apparent inconsistencies between Rule 67 and then Republic Act 10752 and Republic Act 8974, I've heard these discussions, Your Honor, during the revisions being made on the subcommittee. Actually, Your Honor, the head of the subcom is right here with us. It's Justice Carl Miranda. And he's in charge of Rule 67 because he came from the Office of the Solicitor General. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Justice Carl. So could we expect an earlier resolution? Because it seems justice is denied to the owners in Baguio City.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. The matters raised by the Honorable Damogan regarding expropriation have been incorporated in the proposed revisions to the rules of court, particularly on Rule 67, have been submitted by the subcommittee on the revision of the rules on civil procedure to the Supreme Court for its review and for its consideration and approval.
Thank you, Justice Carr. I worked with you in the 13th Congress when you were still in the Solicitor General's office.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
Mas lalo lang, dalian natin kasi, ano. So anyway, can we get the commitment of our administrator, Justice, that when are you going to release first the approval by the Unbank? We have here the four justices. When can we have is it the court procedure for the civil cases? Civil procedure?
yes.
Civil procedure, special civil actions, Your Honor.
Also, and when would that possibly be approved and released so that we can be able to address the issues raised by the Honorable Mauricio Damogan?
Since it has already been submitted to the Supreme Court and Bank, Your Honor, hopefully by the end of the year, we can hear from the Honorable Bank if it already approved the proposed revisions, Your Honor.
Okay, so we see here our four justices. If you can help, especially in fast tracking the approval of the civil procedure rules, including special proceedings.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So with that, we go now to this second to the last before the second round, the Representative Unfilled Bascog. Wala? Okay, so second to the last is Congressman, our dear Mindanao, my neighbor in Butuan, Representative Joboy Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat.
Good afternoon na po.
Justice
Good
natin.
afternoon po.
Anyway, I'll just go straight to the point. No, I've been helping our courts in my district. My district is in Caraga region, and it is the regional center in Caraga region. So lahat po ng mga national agencies dito po sa akin humingi ng mga pondo, no? Kaya yung pondo ko pambigay naman dun sa mga barangay ko lumiliit, no? And I think I'm one of the luckiest congressman right now here in Congress, no? Because I've been watching the hearing for 2 hours now, and I decided to pass by. Dito lang po ako sa third floor. Then, very lucky when I came in, ang issue at hand was the buildings for mga judicial buildings. And ako po talagang naghahanap ako because ang mga tinutulong ko po doon sa building ng ano doon is yung parking lot nila.
Yes.
Ma-cover yung parking lot nila and save sila, no? Additional building. But this time around, no, I was able to talk to a judge from Davao, I think, but she was assigned to take this job and to talk to me regarding putting up of a new judicial 4-story judicial building. And what's good is that the LGU has given them I think 3,000 square meters for that building. So very lucky when I came in, I heard, no, the issue, and basta may LGU na binigay. So I'd like to appeal.
The location of that, Representative Aquino, where is the location of that? There is 3,000 square meters.
That's in Butuan City, in my district. And in fact, andito nga, may read this, Mr. Chairman, no? The project title right now is construction of a 4-story hall of justice in Butuan City, no? That's in Barangay Tiniwisan. Phase 1 is 150 million and the phase 2 is 110 million. Can that be, Mr. Chairman, can that be included, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, we request our administrator to include
Yes, yes,
in
Your
the
Honor.
listing of capital
Yes.
outlay.
In our MR to be included, Your Honor, as a
It will be included.
Yes.
Thank you very
Your
much.
For
Honor.
your
Thank you.
representation.
And may I invite you,
Yes, Your
matuloy
in
po,
Davao.
I'll invite you to visit my district para
Yes.
makita niyo
Thank you,
yun,
Your Honor.
no? And we will be very, very happy.
We will hold the dialogue with Your Honor.
Thank
for
you.
this.
Thank you very much po sa inyo lahat. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Aquino, for your statement of support for the budget of the
Oh
judiciary.
yes, I do support, of course. No?
Thank you very much.
Hindi natin support
So my
wala
advance
to.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honors.
Now to the last, but the last will be the gospel 3 weeks ago. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Then we will now call on Congressman Chel Diokno for the last, for the last second round.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair. It's always a pleasure to be presided over by the Honorable Chair. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
In 2007, if you will recall, the then Chief Justice Reynato Puno, and I'm sure Justice Maidas would also recall that, organized a National Consultative Summit. Ang mainit po na issue kasi noon ay yung extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. Ngayon po, iba naman ang issue, but I think we all can see that galit na rin ang sambayan ng Pilipino dun sa mga nangyayaring anomalya pagdating sa flood control and other infrastructure projects. We have the legislative branch conducting investigations. We have the executive branch creating an independent commission. Don't you think it's time that the judiciary also get involved in showing the people that we are all concerned about anti-corruption, and we want to make sure that there will be accountability dahil yun po atang hinahanap ng taong bayan ngayon.
Yes, Your Honor. The judiciary, Your Honor, since this is from the perspective of the court, it's on adjudication, and we only decide on what is laid before the courts. We study the facts that are presented on the basis of the rules on evidence, and from there apply the law. While the judiciary can show its concern that it is that it has to maintain its public trust and confidence by adjudicating what is just, what we uphold the Constitution and the law. The thing is, it's an independent authority that each justice will have, because that's the core value of an ethical judge, to be independent. Because if we become swayed with what's going on when there are potential litigable issues at hand, we may be prejudging cases already, Your Honor. So forgive me if I say that when it comes to the courts, what we decide on should only be based on the facts and the law, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm not asking the members of the judiciary to take sides.
Yes, Your Honor.
But just like what happened in 2007, when members of the three departments and civil society,
Yes, Your Honor.
other stakeholders got together, there were concrete solutions that
Yes.
came about to
Yes, Your
address the problems then. And there are already, I understand, some pending cases on appeal of involving graft and corruption of a large scale. We can anticipate that there will be also prosecutions coming out of the investigations now. May I know, or could I have the commitment of the courts to fast-track cases involving large-scale corruption? After all, these are cases involving the money of the people. There is a big clamor for accountability. Could we get the commitment of the judiciary on this?
Yes, Your Honor, and the Chief Justice will be informed about this, Your Honor, immediately. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Justice. Mr. Chair, with that commitment given by the judiciary, I also express my full support for an increased budget for the courts.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, our minority, Deputy Minority Leader. The minority is already supporting the budget of judiciary. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much, Your
Congressman Chel Diokno. And therefore, before I would be able to, turn over to the person who is the big boss of all of these proceedings, I will just read to you the manifestation support of Congressman Loyola. He is saying, Congressman Loyola, Madam Chair, is saying that he is manifesting full support for the proposed budget of the judiciary for 2026.
Yes, sir.
There is no question from the civil society, but I would just like to say also that this representation from Cagayan de Oro, the city of golden friendship, the gateway to Mindanao, is not only supporting what is presented here by the Honorable Judiciary Branch, but to augment it as they have requested. Thank you very much,
Thank you very
Madam
much.
Chair. So I now turn over to Chairperson Mika Swansea.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Rufus Rodriguez, for shepherding the passage of the budget of the judiciary. My apologies for not being here earlier. I presided over the budget hearing for the Office of the Vice President. So I transferred here straight away po after the proceedings. Thank you very much po for being here. I would like to acknowledge, of course, the presence of our distinguished guests today. Of course po, from the part of the Supreme Court, I'd like to acknowledge Associate Justice Garland. Thank you very much po. Associate Justice Lopez, Associate Justice Marquez, Associate Justice Villanueva, our Court Administrator, the Honorable Gomez Astuesta. Thank you very much po. And as well to our Assistant Court Administrators, our Deputy Court Administrator, and the Deputy Clerk of Court. Thank you very much po for being here. Associate Justice Jacinto from Sandigabayan, and Associate Justice Miranda. Thank you very much po. From the Court of Appeals, Presiding Justice Peralta, and Associate Justice Mamawag. And from the Court of Tax Appeals po, Associate Justice Ferrer Flores. Thank you very much po.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, if
Yeah.
I may, just one last request.
Yes, go
If
ahead
I
po.
could request the Sandigan Bayan to submit the list of the aging pending cases that are 20 years or over, together with the amounts involved and perhaps a short summary of the reasons why the cases are taking that long. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, Your Honor, we will do that. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Representative Jacques, no, that's it for the questions, right? Okay. All right. So I've been looking over the presentation of the budget, the proposed budget of the judiciary. I'm seeing here po that in terms of budget utilization, wala po kaming masabi. Very much well utilized po. Consistently for across the board for the Supreme Court, the PET, CA, Sandigan Bayan and CTA. So all of them po, all above 96%. So very stellar
Thank you very
po
much,
in terms of the budget utilization.
Thank you.
And in terms of the requests po, I'm looking through every single line item of what was not included in the NAP. So as per the presentation, the current proposed budget for the judiciary under the NAP is 67.945 billion pesos. And I'm seeing here po the detailed breakdown of the roughly 21 billion as requested po for consideration of the Committee for Additional Funding. I always ask before po we end the deliberations, we know naman po there's limited fiscal space. If we are able to find additional fiscal space, we have to share it across the different departments po and the different agencies. So I would like perhaps to give the floor to the judiciary if in case po we're not able to accommodate the full 21 billion as proposed here. May I request for a prioritization po as to which programs, which projects, which line items you would like us to prioritize for additional funding? Para lang po, we would, every time meron po kaming mahanap na fiscal space, we can put it in as per your priority. Mahirap din po kasi if we're the ones who kind of put it in and then all of a sudden hindi po pala yon yung utmost priority ng judiciary. So if we may request that po, if possible po,
Yes,
within
Your Honor.
48 hours, kaya po ba? Because we have 2 days of committee hearings to go, and then we'll proceed po to the Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee. So that will be this week, and then we're proceeding to the plenary next week. So para po maipasok po namin doon po sa mga amendments that we will consider under
Yes,
the
Your
Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee. If you're comfortable na po, Court Admin, if you may appraise us.
Yes, Your Honor.
I guess you also need to align po with our associate justices present here today. But would you be able to provide us siguro a high-level
Yes po.
top 3?
Yes, Your Honor.
Top 3 to 5
3.
right now.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, Your
ngayon
Honor.
po.
We can do it. We can do it, Your Honor. By tomorrow.
Tomorrow na lang.
By
So,
Madam Chair,
yes po, Representative
Madam
Nino.
Chair, pasensya na po. I was going to forego my interpellation, pero dahil humingi po kayo ng parang budget priorities, no? Kung pwede lang po mag-raise ng isang bagay.
Okay.
Maiksi lang, maiksi lang.
Just one po.
Opo. This has to do po with the use of Filipino Sign Language law and interpreting. No? Kasi author po ako nung Republic Act 11106,
Yes,
Filipino
Your
Sign
Honor.
Language
Yes.
law. No? Tapos kasama po dun sa nire-require nun is for the Supreme Court and all the other courts to provide for to ensure the availability of Filipino Sign Language interpreters. No? So ang concern ko lang po is the budgetary requirements to make that possible. No, so meron po bang budget na nakalaan diyan at kung kulang magkano po ang kailangan para sa full implementation nito?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, there are rules already adopted on the Filipino Sign Language to be used in court. Is there a budget? We need 50 million pesos for that, Your Honor, to be able to implement it fully.
Madam Chair, 50 million pesos po. Siguro naman kayang-kayang mahanap yan ng komite. So sana po maisama po sa submission yon to the Honorable Court. And Madam Chair, sana po napakalaking bagay po for the Filipino deaf community
if Filipino Sign Language interpreting is available in the courts. And it will only take 50 million pesos. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Representative Tino. Perhaps if I may pose a question din po to as co-author of the measure po. Ano yung appropriations provision doon sa law? When it was passed po, usually we do have appropriations provisions. Has it taken into consideration the additional funding requirements for the different
Yeah.
agencies and
Well, I
departments?
think if I remember correctly, it's the standard wording, which is using the available appropriations for the current year and then subsequently for requirements to be included in the proposal of the agencies concerned.
Okay, noted on that po. We'll take a look and we'll also wait for that in the list of requests po. If you may also please take into consideration the manifestation of Representative Tino.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. We've taken note of the representation on the additional 50 million to be added to our reconsidered request for reconsideration.
The 50 million po ba, Representative Tino, that's only for the judiciary or that's across the board?
Maybe the Supreme Court can clarify whether that only applies to the Supreme Court itself or to the whole judiciary.
Just for the judiciary, Your Honor.
So,
The whole judiciary.
across
For
the
the
whole
across the board,
judiciary.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Your
Oh,
Honor.
yun po. Kayang-kaya na po siguro yun, Madam Chair. 50 million for the whole judiciary. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Tino. We'll take that into consideration po upon receipt of the submission from the judiciary.
By tomorrow, Your Honor, we will submit our top priorities.
Tomorrow na kagad. Okay, better if
Yes,
tomorrow.
Your Honor.
Apo, kasi we're doing the Budget Amendment Business Review Subcommittee meeting on Thursday. So sakto po, if you can get
Yes
it to us by tomorrow, mapapasok na po namin sa
Yes, Your Honor.
deliberations.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you very much po. So I guess Vice Chair Rodriguez, I believe all the requests for additional information, all of that is already there. We've gotten the commitment from the judiciary that they will provide the necessary documents. On our part po, a lot of the members have expressed support in terms of, augmenting what's already there in the NEP. So, ang titignan na lang po namin, it was brought to my attention by Vice Chair Rufus Rodriguez that there are certain offices wherein talagang almost zero yung increase from year on year, which we also have to take into consideration the SSL and also the account for inflation and things like that. So we will definitely po, the assurance that we can give on the part of the Committee on Appropriations is we will make sure that, the judiciary is provided with the resources and the funding required for you to be able to perform your mandate po for the coming year. So we've received our resounding, the support on the part of the members of the House. So consequently po, we will also take that into consideration as we move forward po and ultimately, decide the funding allocation for the judiciary for fiscal year 2026. Basta hintayin lang po namin yung funding requests just so we're guided as to how to do those augmentations as well. Okay, and with that, given that there are no other interpellator who wishes to pose questions to the judiciary, may I solicit a motion from the body?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I
Representative
move that we
Escudero.
terminate the budget hearing on the proposed budget of the judiciary, including its attached agencies. I so move, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Any second?
The motion.
There is a motion duly seconded. The budget hearing on the proposed budget of the judiciary for fiscal year 2026 is hereby terminated.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much po to our associate justices, to our officials from the judiciary. Thank you very much po. May I solicit another motion from the body? 1:30 po.
I move that we suspend budget hearing until 1:30 this afternoon.
To give
move,
way,
Madam Chair.
to give way to the preparations for the budget hearing of the Department of Justice at 1:30 p.m., the hearing is hereby suspended. Thank you very much, Vice Chair Rufus Rodriguez, and to all the members of the committee who are present here today. Maraming salamat po.